Hey, you just caught me in the middle of editing another Great Racer Cinema Productions video. Oh yeah, take that, you stupid biker skull guys. Yeah, I do love that they add in these biker guys with the skulls on them. Yeah, they did appear in the movie, and that's pretty cool. Yeah! Punch! Yeah! This is what a Batman game should be. Mr. Bandito, someone sent you a letter. Go ahead and check it. I know you're busy playing this game, but you should check it. It's really important. Oh, crap. Alright. I'll go ahead and check it. Yeah, you may be get hit by a bazooka clown for that. Wait, what's this? For the cast iron bandits. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's two games there. All right, it's another riddle. Dear cast iron bandit, what is cold as a freezer, wet as a puddle, and deeper than the deepest swamps of the bayou? Signed by, you guessed it, the Riddler. Yeah, this one's harder than the last one. I know, right? Yeah, it says something about a freezer. And I think Mr. Freeze is in the game. Yeah, this one is harder than the last one. So maybe the Arctic Ocean? Yeah, that makes sense. Looks like we got two games to review, Robin. Yeah, this game on Super Nintendo, and this game on Sega Genesis. It's gonna be a double feature. Yeah. Well, guess I better turn off the game and go take a look at these games. Let's go, Robin. Well, hello again. Yeah, I had to split that third part of the Tumblr video, the Lego Tumblr build, into two different halves because of the length. Yeah, so it would have a side A and side B. But that's not as important what we're going to actually take a look at today. And here's a bit of a history that I forgot to mention in the last video. Because if you're reviewing Batman games, you have to mention a brief history. Alright, in 1939, Batman made his debut in Detective Comics. He was created by comic book legend Bob Kane, but back then, Batman sucked. So, what happened next? Well, Bill Finger went ahead and actually improved Batman. Yeah, he made Batman better, and this take on Batman would actually lead Batman himself to become popular. I mean, really popular. Batman and Superman both have the distinction of being two of the oldest comic book characters that are still around and relevant to this very day. Yeah, so first came the Batman serials. Yeah, and one of the Batman serials is one of the Batman serials also appears on Mystery Science Theater 3000. And then, in the 1960s, 1966 to be exact, the Batman TV series first aired and became really popular. And it also created this image of a Batman being campy. This campy image of Batman, however, would last until 1986, and in 1986 we got Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. And of course, that means that people were no longer interested in the more campy nature of the 1966 Batman TV series, so they wanted a darker Batman movie. And in 1989, they got it. With Batman, directed by Tim Burton. The Tim Burton Batman movie gave a darker Batman to a wide audience, yet helped popularize the darker Batman, and of course, its success led to a sequel, which was also pretty good, and was darker than the original, believe me. I watched it, and the Penguin was kind of he was gross. But it goes with the darker theme. And its success also led to the Batman animated series, originally known as Batman the Animated Series. And of course, the first game to come out of it is, well, Batman the Animated Series on Game Boy. Yeah, Batman's no stranger to video games. I mean, Sunsoft made, well, all of the Batman games based on the first Batman movie, including the Game Boy version, which I might take a look at if I ever get a copy of it. And of course, with Batman Returns, Malibu Interactive handled the Sega CD and Sega Genesis versions, whereas Konami handled the Super Nintendo version of the game. And of course, Konami also developed this version of the game on Game Boy. And, well, you're about to see why it's one of the better Game Boy games. Yeah, Batman the Animated Series on Game Boy is actually surprisingly good. I've got nothing else to say. So otherwise, well, on the video here. Ha, just kidding. We actually got some things to say about this game, but I don't have the original box, so all I got is this cartridge. I got it alongside Batman Returns on Sega Genesis. Yeah, and this is also going to be a double feature, and you're going to see why. Alright, so without further ado, let's go take a look at Batman the Animated Series on Game Boy. Now here's something cool. A chiptune version of the theme song from the show. And it's not one of those, like, annoying themes that has all blips and beeps. No. They actually did a great job on this, rendition of the theme song. This game is actually the opposite of the first Batman game on Game Boy. It's actually a really good game. Yeah, and it actually does have some strategy to it. It's sort of a cross between a a beat 'em up and a platformer. Yeah. A jumps and B attacks. Just the way it's supposed to be. Not B jumps and A attacks. Now that's the right controls. And of course you can also shoot this grappling hook to jump on higher platforms. Yeah, the grappling hook is a useful tool. Whoops, as you can see, we're not supposed to go near the teddy bears. The explosive. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good game, and it actually has the wall jump, which is actually reminiscent of the original Batman game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. You can also jump down platforms, but only certain ones. Yeah, not much else to say, but it's definitely a great game that is worth picking up and playing. And it's not that expensive. But it's pretty expensive for a Game Boy game though. But it's worth it though. Still worth it. Yeah, so it's a great game. What else is there to say about it? Alright, so that's that. Batman the Animated Series on Game Boy is actually a surprisingly good game. And keep in mind, it's a Game Boy game. Yeah, Game Boy games are usually not that great and are only meant to be games for you to play on the go, especially certain versions like Street Fighter. They only exist so that you can play Street Fighter on the go back then. But this game is actually pretty good, and I do know that there are some really great Game Boy exclusives. Like Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, I think it's called that, I can't really remember, but it's a good game. And so is this game. If you're a fan of Batman and you want something to play on the go, and you want like a game based off of the great Batman the Animated Series with Batman voiced by Kevin Conroy, then there you go. This is the game to get if you're a fan of the show. And this game well deserves a 9 out of 10. And interestingly enough, there was going to be a Super Nintendo version of this game, and it was actually released. But it was under a different name though, The Adventures of Batman and Robin, and the reasoning for that is because, well, the name of the show had a title change during the second season. So yeah, it's the supposed Super Nintendo version of the game, and I might take a look at that game sometime, because it's the best Adventures of Batman and Robin game on any console. Yeah, there's a lot of Batman games that I haven't covered yet. Alright, so the next game in the double feature that we're going to be taking a look at is The Adventures of Batman and Robin on Sega Genesis, and this game is a Contra-like shooter. And of course, it wasn't even developed by Konami, like the SNES version. It's published by Sega and developed by Turtle Rock Studios, I think. I think that's the name of the company. I have to look that up. Yeah. They're the same guys that made the Sega CD version of the game, and that game was infamous for being way too difficult. I don't have that game yet because, well, sadly, very expensive, and, well, I might wait until I go to other stores to find it. But for now, I do have the impressive Sega Genesis version. This version is also pretty good, although it's also very hard. Yeah, unlike Batman Returns on the Sega Genesis, I don't have the original box for it since, well, Sega actually decided that around mid to late 1994 that they would make like a Sega Genesis games in cardboard boxes instead of the far superior game cases. Yeah, you know, it's done to cut down costs, and yeah, it's really like rubbing salt into the wound. It was really insulting, and these boxes didn't last as long as the game cases. Yeah, and most Sega 32X games were also in these boxes. It's probably because they wanted to save money for producing the Sega Saturn and Sega 32X. Sega blew a lot of money back in those times. Yeah, the 1995 decade, 1995 was a tough year for Sega, so to say. And this game is actually 2-player. Yeah, don't worry, I have a second controller, and you'll probably guess who's going to be playing the game. So, let's go, Robin. We're about to do some justice in Gotham City. Let's go! Something's off. We don't hear the sound. Let's say reset the Genesis and fiddle with the AV cable. There! Well, that's more like it! Yeah, I was trying to do an impression of Ken Miles in Ford vs. Ferrari, which Ken Miles is played by Christian Bale in that movie. Yeah. Same guy who played as one of the versions of Batman, who will explain in a later video. Yeah, this game has a pretty kick-ass soundtrack. It doesn't have the soundtrack from the show, but it's a great original soundtrack. And of course, well, this game doesn't actually have dialogue, unlike the SNES version. It just has pictures, and of course, you're supposed to tell which action's going to ensue. Yeah, chaos just broke out of Arkham Asylum, and of course the Joker, the Mad Hatter, and Two-Face and Mr. Freeze have escaped. Oh no! Looks like the guards were having a field day with this one. Yeah, it's developed by Clockwork Tortoise, not Turtle Rock Studios. Yeah, Turtle Rock were the guys that developed the Left 4 Dead games. Yeah, it's a pretty good plot. And of course, this is one time where you don't actually need words to explain what kind of action's going on. You just need action. Yeah, so, unlike the SNES version, you actually get a choice to play as Batman or Robin. As you can tell, I obviously picked Batman, because who wants to play as Robin? This game is actually pretty good. It's a decent game, and it's a good Contra-like shooter, but there's a problem with it. You see, Batman is a character that doesn't shoot. No guns is kind of in his philosophy. It's kind of his thing. So, you're going around using infinite ammo, or, well, in this case, throwing infinite stuff at the enemies, and that's how you take out the enemies in this game. It's kind of strange that Batman is just shooting bad guys with infinite ammo instead of, well, using his fists and his kicks. Yeah. It's kind of a problem, but it's a good game. It's just I've heard that the SNES version, even though I've not played it, is actually better because it makes more sense as a Batman game. And this game ain't easy either. This game is very hard, and I mean very hard. It might not seem long, because this game only has 4 levels with 3 stages each, but believe me, it's very long. Yeah, it's not actually short, it's very long, and unlike the SNES version, it doesn't have a password. But still a good game though. It's just not much of a Batman game. Yeah, I'm surrounded by these friggin' flamethrower guys. I mean, why'd they put them in? They shoot like 3 bullets each, and they're always a pain. Yeah, this game will make you rip your hair out. But if you beat this game, well, I commend you. Because if you beat this game, you are awesome. Yeah, it's very hard, but it's worth it to go to the end of the game to finally see Mr. Freeze in Arkham Asylum. Yeah, and look at the continue screen. It's Mr. Freeze himself, and it's got this cool animation that's so cool. Yeah, it has pretty cool presentation, but I don't think it's anywhere near as cool as the SNES version. You also got these bombs to help you out, but there's not that many. It doesn't make the game any easier. At least in this game, you move pretty fast, as opposed to a Batman Returns, where you move pretty slow. Yeah, this game is actually better than Batman Returns, but it's still a challenge. But I still recommend it for any Batman the Animated Series fans. And it's actually one of those games that's better to play with 2 players. But good luck trying to get anyone to play as Robin, unless if it's Robin himself. Bear with me. There we go, we got Robin to play the game. Hey, Robin, you're supposed to go down and help me. Oh, sorry about that. You're supposed to help me out. Hey, try to shoot the bad guys, Robin. Well, don't actually blame me. I'm not very good at this game. Kinda makes sense since this game is pretty hard. Hey, you're supposed to help me out, Robin. You're supposed to shoot the bad guys here. Yeah, if you got a good player to play with you and not someone who's a friggin' kid like Dick Grayson, well, believe me, he does act like a little kid sometimes. At least in the Lego Batman movie. But he's very obedient, though. Yeah, I'm trying my best. So yeah, I highly recommend you play this game, because, well, it's a good 2-player game, but it's not much of a Batman game. Yeah, it doesn't feel like Batman, so that's that. Yeah. It's my first time playing the game. I just died. Man, this game sucks. It doesn't actually suck, it's pretty good. Let's move along. Oh, I actually found out that it wasn't Turtle Rock Studios that developed it. Yeah, Turtle Rock Studios were the guys that made the Left 4 Dead games, and infamously Evolve. It's Clockwork Tortoise that made the Sega Genesis version of The Adventures of Batman and Robin and the Sega CD version. Yeah, just got confused because, well, they both had turtle in the name. Yeah, no, tortoise is a different definition of turtle. That's how I know they're turtles, okay? Alright, so The Adventures of Batman and Robin on Sega Genesis is still a good game, but it does have one major flaw. Well, actually, it has a few major flaws. Firstly, the difficulty. This game is hard as hell. I mean, this game is very hard. And you have to beat it in one sitting. Oh, and that's another problem with this game, is that the second problem is doesn't have a password feature like the Super Nintendo version does. The SNES version has passwords. And believe me, The Adventures of Batman and Robin on Sega Genesis is a long game. It might not seem long, but it's very long. Also, there's also a third problem with the game. It's a shooter. Yeah, you're basically going around throwing infinite stuff at the enemies. Batman isn't all about shooting. He's all about knocking people out with his fists and kicks, and sometimes using a batarang. But he isn't all about guns or anything like that. He's not about shooting. That goes against what Batman stands for. Yeah, it's a bad idea to make Batman a shooter. It's not what a Batman game is all about, but it's still a good game though. It gets an 8 out of 10. It's a good game with a few flaws. But it does make up for it with having impressive graphics that puts the Sega Genesis to its absolute limit and has an awesome original soundtrack, although it doesn't have the theme song from the show itself. Yeah, and that was also a problem with the Sega Genesis version of Batman Returns. No music from the movie. And it also applies to the Sega CD versions. Well, at least the Sega CD version of Batman Adventures of Batman and Robin makes an attempt to keep the song. Yeah, good game, but has a few problems. Although it's better than the Batman Returns in the Sega Genesis, because you move really slow in that game. In this Batman game, you move fast, and it's action-packed and has some pretty good moments. And also, it gets a point because friggin' Two-Face and Mr. Freeze are bosses in this game. Yeah, Two-Face. It's not my favorite Batman villain, but he is pretty close. My favorite Batman villain is the Scarecrow. And I think the Scarecrow was a boss in the SNES version of the Adventures of Batman and Robin. Although it has the Mad Hatter, one of the lesser-known Batman villains, and, well, yeah. Why did they include him? I mean, why couldn't they include someone like a Scarecrow or even the Phantasm herself? I mean, Batman, the Mask of the Phantasm just came out 2 years prior to this game, so I have no idea why they couldn't include her as a boss instead of someone from Alice in Wonderland. And yeah, I do know that he's one of the villains of Batman, so yeah, that's how I know, but still, his name is similar to an Alice in Wonderland character. Yeah, and it's also easier with 2 players, and as long as you find someone good to play with and not a kid that doesn't know what he's doing, then, well, you're good. Yeah, Robin's not very experienced at that game, and, well, I highly recommend it for 2 players, but to be honest here, no one aside from Robin himself wants to play as Robin. So yeah, that concludes this double feature. I gotta go ahead and call for a babysitter for a Robin. I'll be back. Oh, you're still here. Alright, yeah, I just called a babysitter for Robin. Yeah, and the phone's ringing. Yeah, I dialed a certain Loud House character's number. Yeah, I got her cell number. Alright. Be a sec. Oh, hello? Hey, this is Scott Goodwell. Yeah, I'm calling about a babysitter to babysit someone named Dick Grayson. So, you think you can handle it, Lori Marie Loud? Alright, I'm sure you've handled a bunch of kids. Okay. Yeah, it's good to hear. Bye. Yeah, she said she'll be here shortly. I just hope she's on time. 'Cause if not, then we're gonna have to deal with another situation. Yeah, she's gonna babysit Dick Grayson. Alright, see you guys later. And see you guys in the next video. Peace